on holy water, sanguine addiction, the silver bullets, long last blood benediction.
Moses Paul. Oh, Moses Pad. Whoa, that's even crazier. Moses Pad. And he's taking a selfie.
The hypocrisy of Christendom never ceases to amaze me.
Wait, Christendom? You're not talking about me, are you? That's a good one. Christendom. We'll get into that later. I think this is something symptomatic of Jehovah's Witnesses. They have this fixation about Christendom. Christendom, if you're not familiar with Jehovah's Witnesses and the way they talk, that means anybody that they don't like. It's Christendom. They group millions, billions of people together into this thing called Christendom. It's monolithic. It's unified. And it's the antithesis of what they are. It's just anything that's the opposite of them is identified as Christendom, including me, who has never set foot in a church in his life. I'm the hypocrisy of Christendom now. Hypocrisy? Well, that's a strange duck in itself, as I am not really a hypocrite, am I? I mean, if you wanted to go into court and make the case that I'm a bad boy, well, you'd probably win that case. But hypocrite, that dog don't hunt, my man. How am I a hypocrite? Hypocrisy of Christendom. Hey, I'm not in Christendom, and I'm not really a hypocrite. I don't know what he said. It just never ceases to amaze me. They bash all of Jehovah's Witnesses over Prince appearing on one episode of that show. It was just one episode. And yet people from Christendom will appear on shows that show witchcraft, sex, murder, and racism. I'm not picking on you, Moses, but racism, come on. You just group together millions, hundreds of millions of people into a thing called Christendom. Every sentence has Christendom in it. And people that aren't Jehovah's Witnesses are scratching their heads saying, what does this mean? Here's what it means. The people of Jehovah's Witnesses that knock on the door and they say, oh, I have my own Bible. I already believe in God. Have a good day. They say, that's Christendom. That's Christendom. Ah! And now you talk about racism. Grouping millions of people into Christendom when they don't even know they're in Christendom. This is your bigotry. This is literally bigotry. You're not a Jehovah's Witness. You say you believe in God, but you're not one of us. Therefore, you're a Christendom. And people like you appear on shows that show witchcraft and sex. And also on those shows that promote racism. Just one of those popular racist TV shows that are out there right now. You name it, they do it. They have done it. And by the way, the guy who makes these videos is making money off of his hatred for Jehovah's Witnesses. It's a huge cash cow for me, I have to confess. At first I started making videos just because I hate Jehovah's Witnesses. I just hate their guts. But it really turned into a money-making endeavor for me. And now I'm just making money hand over fist, and that's why I live in such splendor. I love all the things that the money has provided me. And as proven, well, since we're here anyway, I'll just go to my channel settings. Let's learn how much money I've been making. I've been waiting for this check to come in. Monetization. And, oh shit! Oh God, I forgot to push the button! Oh no! I thought I pushed that button years ago! Oh, fudge! Fudge! I thought I was getting rich all this time! No, 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 no! This can't be happening! No, it is! Oh, it's true! God blast it! I thought I was making a fortune on YouTube, and I never pushed the button. Oh, I should have learned more about how to become a partner through monetization and displaying ads on your videos. Oh, God. Oh, Jehovah had the last laugh this time. I thought I was making money. I thought that check was in the mail. It never came. Oh, well, I have another money-making scheme I can rely on. It's called a job. I go there every day, and in my free time, I make videos. I hate Jehovah's Witnesses too, but it kind of bothers me that everyone's making so much money off of their hatred of Jehovah's Witnesses. Oh, the money feels good, but isn't it wrong? Oh, well, I can get over it.
The guy who makes these videos is making money off of his hate for Jehovah's Witnesses. He has enough subscribers and video views to make money off of them.
Wait, I hate to stop you again, Moses Pad, but Jehovah's Witnesses, you ask everyone you talk to for money, right? You go to the door. Wait. You knock on doors, total strangers. You give them a magazine that they're under the impression is free. You really coax them. You practically put it in their hands and say, please read this. And after, you usually never get this far. And even if you do, a lot of JWs don't have the gut to do it. But after you put the magazine in the person's hand, you're supposed to say, by the way, it is customary to tip. We do accept donations at this time. And if you'd like to make a small contribution to the worldwide work, I'd be happy to accept it. A few dollars will be fine. Yeah, I'll stand here at the doorstep while you retrieve it. And, let me get something for you. And then they hand the microphone back to the brother, and they walk off stage, and the audience claps. And the man returns to the podium and says, thank you for that demonstration of how things are supposed to go. We're talking about Jehovah's Witnesses, right? You ask strangers for money. All day, every day. Jehovah's Witnesses going up and down the street asking people for money. The more I see people hate us, the more I am convinced that I am in the truth. Moses, that's a terrible way to convince yourself you know the truth. By what other people are doing? That's your litmus test for knowing that what you think in your mind is the truth. Because of what other people think or do or say. You go to people's doors and you bang on the door and you're waving magazines around and they say, go to hell? Oh, I must have the truth. I wish it worked that way, Moses. It doesn't. Other people telling you to get off their porch or shut up or get away from me, that's not a litmus test for the truth. Same thing happens to if you were selling Avon. I'm sorry. Maybe people at doors do hate you. They probably don't. But even if they do hate you, it's probably because you irritated them really bad. I've done the door-to-door thing, and I got to tell you, the 30 seconds that you may get to talk, if you can get 30 to 60 seconds into it, you're like, wow, this is working. The 25, 30 seconds that you have to talk is not enough time for somebody to hate you. They don't know you. They don't even, you say, my name is Moses. They probably think it's a made-up name. I'm looking at your name, and it's taken me, 10 minutes to convince myself that probably is your name. Moses Pad. It sounds like a Bible app on a phone. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm the bad guy. People don't hate you, Moses. You're too isolated from the world for probably anyone to hate you. I'm sorry, but worldly people, if the only people that hate each other, there's got to be something behind it. And most people don't really hate Jehovah's Witnesses because there's nothing there. You don't have enough extensive interaction with the world for people to hate you in the world. Now, you are going to annoy people in the world. I'm guessing wherever you work, there's probably quite a few people that find you annoying and grit their teeth and roll their eyes. That's not hatred. That's not you getting fed to the lions or crucified or, hung on a stake. Nobody hating you. And even if they did, look, I know that in places like Borneo or some weird place like that, there probably are Jehovah's Witnesses getting put in prisons and beaten and stuff, and I'm sorry for that. But that's the world. That's what happens. It's happening to people. Every day there's people getting killed. The world's a hateful place, Moses. If someone's been hateful to you, I'm sorry, but bro, it ain't me. It ain't me, and it isn't the ex-Jehovah's Witnesses who make videos on YouTube. That's not hate. That's just people saying what's on their mind. And I mean, you watched the Prince video. I made this video, man. There's nothing hateful here. I'm just clowning on Prince. What do you think? I'm not this. You really think Prince can walk around with an afro, walking around in high heel shoes, and I'm not gonna say anything? Do you really? That's preferable to you? That no one is supposed to notice that Prince seems to be getting away with kind of a weird thing. You're out here in the real world, and you're doing the Jehovah's Witness thing where you make something up on the spot, convince yourself it's true. You made an assumption about me that Christendom has some hold in what I'm doing or saying. It just doesn't. I could not care less about Christendom. The more people I see hate us, the more I'm convinced that I'm in the truth. I know that's at meetings, assemblies, they tell you that's how you can convince yourself that you're in the truth, is because the world is dirty and mean. You're right, the world is dirty and mean. Therefore, you have the truth. I hate to bring this up, Moses. You typed an entire paragraph about me personally that was not true. I'm not calling you a liar, but as you can see, I just clicked on this button. The assumption that you made about me was not true. You were dead wrong. You were completely wrong. I'm not mad at you. I love you. You were wrong. And you did not state this as merely your opinion. You have fallen into the Jehovah's Witness trap of stating something with certainty that you did not know for a certainty. And you established it as fact, and you did not keep that fact to yourself. You proclaimed it to the world and anyone who would read it. There's nothing in here that says, I think so, or probably, or maybe. You went out of your way to inform people of this fact, which is not true, as I just proved by clicking on this button. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal, but it is a big deal because this is a small thing, but you do it with big things too, don't you? You go door to door, and you probably don't even get to deliver this message to anyone because it probably never even gets that far, but if anybody were to listen long enough, you would get around to letting them know that you know for a certainty that Armageddon is around the corner. Just like it always has been. Just around the corner. Just like it has been for thousands of years. Just any minute now. And you know this for a certainty. Well, people in the past have always been wrong. But you are, for the first time ever, somebody is right. And he's standing on your doorstep. We don't even support wars. Because you know who else doesn't support wars? 4 out of 5 Americans. Amongst themselves about pagan trinity. But what unites them is their hate of Jehovah's Witnesses. He's got a point there. What really unites the world is their hate of Jehovah's Witnesses. People just hate Jehovah's Witnesses, and that's what unites them. That's how Christendom was united into one monolithic group of people that we can identify easily. We can identify Christendom by their hatred of Jehovah's Witnesses. It's one thing they have in common. The rest of the time they go to war, but what unites them is that hatred. We expose all the biblical lies of Christendom, and Christendom hates the truth. You nailed it, Moses. That is exactly what's going on here. This video wasn't really about Prince being a hypocrite. It's not really about somebody saying, wait, Prince, I know Prince thinks the world is his oyster, and the Jehovah's Witnesses just seem to think it's awesome and it's wonderful. It's not really about that. It's about the fact that Christendom hates the truth. We just hate truth. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not in Christendom, but I know that Christendom just hates truth. They want to die and not live in paradise earth. I mean, it'd be nice to live in paradise earth, but you'd have to accept truth. You'd have to acknowledge that what Jehovah's Witnesses say is true, and they hate that. They hate truth so much that it's worth sacrificing eternal life. They could live for billions of years in paradise, but their hatred of truth, they simply hate truth. It's just awful. And knowing that something is true is what drives them and unites them all around the world to hate Jehovah's Witnesses. We're on YouTube, right? It's YouTube. It's millions of videos of people talking about their pencil collections. They hold up their dog to the camera and say, he's a Labrador Poodle mix. This is my dog. I wanted the world to see it. We're on YouTube. Did you think Moses Pad, I want to know, did you think that millions of people were going to go door to door to door to door telling the world that Armageddon is coming and we know how you can survive it, trust us? And nobody was going to make a video saying, not so fast. Wait a minute. Here's one or two things you might want to know. Did you really think millions of people are going to proclaim Armageddon is any second for 100+ years, and then nobody, once YouTube gets invented, nobody's going to say, boy, it's been a long time. Did you really think Prince was going to wear disco outfits, have an afro, and tell the world he's Jehovah Witness, and there's an elder sitting next to him and playing guitar with him? Larry Graham went on stage with him and played guitar with him, and he's an elder. I'm not talking about distant past. I'm talking about you type in Prince 2014. You're going to see the last picture I saw of this man, very current. Hey, I bookmarked it. Hang tight. I want you to see what I'm looking at. Hypocrisy of Christendom. And thank you for being patient, friends. Prince is throwing shade. Well, what does that mean? Apparently it's a real thing. Oh. Well, he looks like Cruella de Vil. Look, I know the guy's aging. I know the people that have plastic surgery and stuff, they don't age well. He's holding a cane. He's not handicapped to my knowledge. Where is he? He's at the Kentucky Derby or some. Oh, he's at Wimbledon or some crazy thing that rich people do. It's not something Jehovah's Witnesses go on service on Saturday mornings. They don't go to horse races or whatever this is. He has an afro. What is this? Is this a muumuu of some sort? This isn't Christian clothing. Is he wearing a cape? This is not what a Jehovah's Witness man looks like. And it's a little... No. I've been a Jehovah's Witness my entire life. And to my understanding, there is only one right way for a Jehovah's Witness to look, to live. You wear a tie, you carry a book bag. This looks like something from the joke store. This looks like when you go to Party City and you get something, you're buying little cone hats to wear or something, and you see the toy afro and you say, it'll be fun. This is what he really looks like. Jehovah's Witnesses, I've been one my entire life. You have the store-bought Hitler Youth haircut. You wear a suit, you wear a tie, you carry a book bag, you go door to door with Watchtower magazine. You don't wear whatever this is. Nobody even knows what this is. You don't see this as a problem? Vikatha McMillan. Stop judging! You have no idea what he's doing in his life! No! Vikatha, I really do. Well, I don't know everything he's doing in his life, but I know that he's doing plenty of things Jehovah's Witnesses aren't supposed to do. He has too much money. He has more money than he needs. And we are supposed to be casting off every weight so that we can run the race for life. It's that simple. He has more than he needs, and yet he still spends every day making more money. Did you never read that the silver pieces will be cast into the street at Armageddon as something worthless? So why is Prince stockpiling something that's going to be thrown into the street on the day of Jehovah? More importantly, why is the Watchtower Society stockpiling something that very shortly will be thrown into the street and to be of no account? I was a Jehovah's Witness. I did not understand. The Watchtower Society makes billions of dollars. What are they doing with it? Where does it go? Boy, they're not spending it on those magazines, are they? That's like sandwich paper. Where's these billions of dollars? They make billions of dollars, right? We found this out. They make billions of dollars. But who's getting it? Don't tell me they're just putting it in a bank account that won't even exist when Armageddon comes. When Armageddon comes, the buyers, the sellers, and none of it will be worth anything, right? That's in the Revelation book. So why is Watchtower Society, I mean, they're even putting money in hedge funds. They're so desperately trying to maximize profits. They're asking worldly people at doors for donations. Where's this money going to? Why is it so important to get it? I gotta tell you, I used to work in the book room at the Kingdom Hall, and I remember the day when it was announced that they won't even be shipping. They're gonna save a few bucks by not shipping the Watchtowers directly to the Kingdom Halls. And the new arrangement was gonna be that once every few weeks, somebody in the book department was going to take the hour-and-a-half drive to Topeka and load up boxes of magazines into the back of their station wagon and make the hour-and-a-half trip back. So they were going to pick it up at a processing center so that the Watchtower Society could shift the burden of that expense onto the publisher, who was going to make the journey of his own time, his own money, and his own station wagon. A billion-dollar corporation found a new way to shave off a few more pennies that they can save at the back-breaking expense of the people at the Kingdom Hall. What's costing this billions of dollars? Everything they get is free all the time. Everything is free all the time. And they're making billions. Where is it going? Do you believe that nobody is getting this money? I'd love to know who has this money. I can't tell you. I have a sick feeling that somebody somewhere is sitting on a yacht. I think somebody has a European mansion. They have a beautiful Tuscan villa with butlers, and I don't know who it is. I do not believe, though, that these billions of dollars that Jehovah's Witnesses are collecting and giving to the Watchtower Society go nowhere. I give up. I don't want to give it. Holy shit, this is a long one. Well, buckle in, people. We'll try to... I'm so tired. We'll try to get through it. Every witness has their own conscience. And it is not up to people to judge their decisions. No. What are you talking about? That's exactly what Jehovah's Witnesses do. Jehovah's Witnesses are accountable to other Jehovah's Witnesses, and they are judged incessantly on every level. What are you talking about? That's what Jehovah's Witnesses do, right? Judicial committees, judicial meetings. There are strict Bible principles, then there's a matter of conscience. Just saying. If you think the show is bad, you don't watch it. If new girl... Well, this is a new thing. Oh, you have Prince on New Girl. It's a filthy show. Well, if you don't like it, don't watch it. All of a sudden, Jehovah's Witnesses, when it comes to Prince, they have a c'est la vie attitude. Where did this attitude come from? You've never had this attitude before. This live and let live attitude has never existed in the Kingdom Hall that I have ever known of. All of a sudden, Prince, he's doing something filthy. Well, just don't watch it. Pretend it's not happening. They're irritated at you for noticing. They would prefer that nobody noticed that Prince is being a bad boy. If someone else doesn't think it's too bad, they do. Works for me. Yeah, this is the new thing at the Kingdom Hall. Contrary to popular belief, elders are not invading everyone's personal decisions. Why is that a popular belief? Huh, that's strange. This is to the contrary of something that you're saying is a popular belief that elders do indeed invade people's personal decisions. And you have no idea if he, Prince, was privately or even publicly reproved for that. That's funny. I don't know. It's possible. I guess I'll grant you that. It's possible that Prince was privately reproved for being on New Girl. But the thing is, that's something that, I mean, he scheduled that and planned it a good deal in advance. And then, well, let's move on. The other things that he has done might seem questionable. There are angry people who have come out of the Witnesses religion upset by a decision of reproving or disfellowshipping, usually. So they get a little bitter. You, the viewer, noticing that Prince is doing something that Jehovah's Witness shouldn't be doing is an indication of your bitterness. Most witnesses that have been disfellowshipped or reproved understand why and accept responsibility for their poor decisions. Prince doing odd, strange behaviors that are not becoming of a Christian Jehovah's Witness is you not coming to grips with your decisions that you made that caused you to get disfellowshipped, and you become bitter, and so you're lashing out at Prince. More likely than moving on in the world. It would be so much better if you would just move on, not look up, not notice that Prince is a huge hypocrite, and seems to be, I mean, I just watched the video the other day. It's 2013. It was 10 months ago. But he was jamming on stage with Larry Graham. And they're dressed like pimps. The elders. More likely than moving on in the world and not bad-mouthing the biblically correct reasons for having been before the elders, I was raised witness. I have several cousins who were disfellowshipped. So I do understand. But all of them know why they were disfellowshipped. A lot of people do not understand why there is disfellowshipping. So they speak out against it as the group as a whole. And they wonder why someone was or wasn't disfellowshipped. Yeah, I think that's fair to say. A lot of people wondering, is it a fair question? Yes or no? People who are disfellowshipped only after they have repeatedly been counseled about a situation and they decide they don't want to correct the issue. It goes against the Bible principles. Normally out of marriage sex. Well, you did hit the nail on that. But we better scroll down. By the way, I hope you brought something to eat and drink, because this is a long one, folks. I hope you didn't have plans. You're not gonna. If you're going to the library today, you're not gonna make it. I'm sorry. As for witnesses are not allowed to have mansion, why? You open up the Bible and read that the rich and poor all came to Jesus. So who cares about his house? I feel that maybe your own conscience dictate what you think is right or wrong. Usually because a parent was really strict. My mother was really strict. But that was her parenting style. I know other parents who were not like my mom. You can't blame all witnesses for the ones that exercise no tact. Again, you're right on the money. My mom hated mansions. She just hated them and just thought Jehovah's Witnesses shouldn't have them. In fact, she felt Jehovah's Witnesses had it too good. They should live in hovels. She hated the fact that Jehovah's Witnesses had houses. And I was just raised that way. And I was beaten repeatedly. And I knew I was disfellowshipped, but I can't handle it. I haven't come to grips with, or nor did I understand why I was disfellowshipped. And that's why I am so sick of Prince having a mansion. I want him to live in a filthy cardboard house. That would make my day. Why do you think witnesses are not supposed to have a career? What world are you living in? And I don't mean that rudely. What pressures are you talking about? When was the last time you were at a Kingdom Hall? I also want to say you cannot judge people. You cannot say Prince cannot be in a show. Again, with you saying witnesses are not allowed to watch rated R movies. It is a matter of conscience. I would love, by the way, you the viewer, I would love to invite you to call up your local elder and tell him you're going to go to see a rated R movie. And he'll say, well, why are you telling me? That's a matter of conscience. Enjoy. A matter of conscience. Oh, I'm going to the movie store. I'm going to get a stack of rated R movies. That's going to be okay, right? Oh, I just wanted to call the elders and just confirm that the decision to watch rated R movies is mine alone. And so that's nothing you would worry about, right? Okay, I'll see you at the Kingdom Hall. Witnesses are encouraged to go out in field service. But you don't have to go out in service all the time. It's up to your conscience. You know, I just hear that at the Kingdom Hall all the time. If you want to go out in service, okay. But no pressure. I mean, if you're so inclined, why not? But don't go out of your way. I mean, if you want to go out in service, but you don't have to do it all the time. I mean, that'd be crazy, right? I mean, it's not like the sky is falling. It isn't the end of the world if you don't want to go out in service. It's just field service, after all. Yeah, it's up to your conscience. Oh, you want to be a Jehovah's Witness but not go out in service? That'll do nicely. That'll be fine. We had parties all the time at our congregation. Picnics, parties, and graduation parties. You are really exaggerating. You are misleading people. You obviously had a very strict old congregation, or just didn't understand. My problem is that I was from a very strict old congregation that did not allow parties. But in that statement, you acknowledge that the elders do indeed wield the power of allowing parties. This person thinks it's something great. Oh, we were allowed to have parties. See, not all halls are as strict as yours. You just undermined that by the admission that the decision isn't made for you. I've seen people that thought they were going to have a party until an elder said, oh, no, you're not. Let me see the guest list. I'll decide who and how many are going to come to your house. And if you can have a party. Oh, our congregation wasn't as strict. You made the point for me. People's lives are booted around like a soccer ball at the discretion of some local guy and his whims. And his pet peeves. And you've made the case for me. There is no uniform code. And people's lifestyles are being decided based upon the personalities of this elder over this person. Oh, he's really strict. But this person over here has a different elder over him. He's very laxed. Well, then it's not really Jehovah doing any of this stuff, is it? And I think that's the larger point. You're talking about this congregation is more strict than this congregation. Well, if it's Jehovah doing this, we're all being led by Jehovah. Why is this wildly variating? Because I got to tell you, in my Kingdom Hall, rated R movies are a no-go. Rated R movies? Whoa, boy, you'd be in hot water. Oh, who knows anymore? Listen to the Council of Jehovah. Jehovah approves of these men. All of these wildly varying anecdotes and experiences, there's no stamp of Jehovah's handprint on them to make them instantly recognizable. And what's really holding sway is the nutty personalities of various local people, right? Elder A tells you one thing, Elder B tells you a different thing. At what point does it dawn on you that Jehovah isn't whispering something in their ear? That's what I'm talking about. Well, you think Jehovah is planting the idea in one elder's brain that parties are okay, and in this elder's brain over here, he's implanting the idea that parties are not okay. Well, JW elders are just people. Exactly. I'm not saying they're monsters, I'm saying they're people. Exactly. Oh, but they're also the cleanest people on the earth. The Bible says, do not give special recognition to men with titles. When you go to the hall, it's the first thing they tell you. The first thing they tell you to do is to acknowledge that someone is your superior. I'm your elder. I'm your Bible study teacher. I'm the school overseer. I'm the presiding overseer. I'm the circuit overseer. I'm the faithful and discreet slave. I'm Anthony Morris III. Not the first two, the third one. Like Prince Henry III. Yes. And I'm here. I'm going to use this time here at the Jehovah's Bible Convention to tell the world that tight pants, men wearing tight pants, is a homosexual conspiracy that arouses them. And when you wear tight pants, it's doing it for them. It gets them off. The homosexuals like it when JW men unwittingly wear their pants too tight. It sexually gratifies them. The collective homosexual international gay caliphate. Tight pants are, they're a disgusting thing that was contrived by these men to give them erections. And no, I don't think that's blasphemous to interject what sounds like my private opinion into a Bible convention touted as food from Jehovah. Critical food. I don't think it's blasphemy to have people hanging on my every word because I tell them that what a talk given by me is considered learning from Jehovah. And no! Tight pants and the secret society of gays who devised them aren't found in the Bible, but nevertheless, you can still think of it as coming from Jehovah, because I am Jehovah's, me and my friends, we're collectively Jehovah's channel of communication. And when we interject our opinions, sometimes somebody will come up to me after the assembly and say, boy, that was a funny part. The thing about the tight pants, where did that come from? That was really funny. Well, I'll just assume that it was your personal opinion, Anthony Morris III, and not anything I should take seriously. After all, I'm not obligated to, since it's not found anywhere in the Bible. So I wouldn't consider that coming from Jehovah, right? It was just your nutty opinion. Well, we all have our quirks, don't we? After all, you're just men like I am. We're all just imperfect men. I'm gonna go home. I have some tight pants. I'm thinking about putting them on. Maybe I will, maybe I won't, but it's my decision. I might watch a rated R movie after that. After all, it's my conscience. It's not from the Bible. It's not even in the Bible. Tight pants? Come on. Well, it's good to see you, Anthony Morris III. By the way, I'm sure nothing's going to happen to me, right? Because after all, tight pants is just something that I know you speak for, Jehovah, but only on scriptural matters. And yes, this convention is largely about Armageddon and how to survive into it. But you wouldn't go off reservation and just start blurting out things that are your private, personal hang-ups. You wouldn't do that. Not God's collective prophet, not the faithful and discreet slave that dispenses food at the proper time. You're the wise and discreet person who would know better than to do that. So I'm at liberty to wear tight pants. Maybe it's not a good idea, but it's my decision to make. See ya. I hope that's okay. I'm going to tell everyone else it's okay too, right? Terrence Howard has never been one of Jehovah's Witnesses. He said he would like to be one, but he likes doing things that go against Bible principles. Exactly. He is not one of Jehovah's Witnesses. He studied with Jehovah's Witnesses, but said, sorry, I like doing things that are against the Bible. Therefore, I am not one of Jehovah's Witnesses. I like doing bad things. It's what I want to do with my life. And so I will not be one of Jehovah's Witnesses. Anyone can become a Jehovah's Witness. All you have to do is live a clean lifestyle, do what the Bible says, and be baptized. I don't want to do that, though. Oh, I studied years ago. I studied 20 years ago. And I've studied off and on ever since then. But I do not want to live by Bible principles. I am a man of this world. Right. Yeah. My problem is not with Terrence Howard. I don't give a flip about Terrence Howard. My problem was with the video. If I could, I would become a Jehovah's Witness. And seeing 50,000 Jehovah's Witnesses call this man a brother, telling him he's a brave man. I look up to you. I wish, this is an actual Jehovah's Witness saying, I wish you were my father, Terrence Howard. My God. The man beat a Jehovah's Witness woman. He broke down a door to beat a sister from the Kingdom Hall. And when the police came, he told him, I broke down the door, then I beat her ass. And then after that, he hosts a program about, he hosts a documentary about Jehovah's Witnesses. Instead of recusing himself and saying, maybe I'm not the best person to host this propaganda movie for Jehovah's Witnesses, considering that I beat a Jehovah's Witness woman. Maybe I should, and I'm somebody who studied the Bible with Jehovah's Witnesses and said, nope, I know what I'm supposed to do, but I won't do it. I won't. I'm just as capable as any other human of doing what the Bible requires of me, but I won't do it. Nevertheless, I will receive accolade from Jehovah's Witnesses because although I beat a Jehovah's Witness woman, I punched a Jehovah's Witness in the face. I'd still like to host a documentary about Jehovah's Witnesses and be the narrator for that show. Serena Williams is not baptized, but it's okay to stand during the national anthem. You just made that up. You did not cite any scripture. Serena Williams is not baptized, but it is okay to stand during the national anthem. How do you know that? That's not in the Bible. It's okay to stand during the national anthem, but not okay to take off your hat. Oh, there we have a list of rules. Can you stand on one leg? Can you halfway stand? Let's move on. Just don't put your hand over your heart. Well, you heard it from a Jehovah's Witness. That's the rule. You can stand during the national anthem. Just don't put your hand over your heart. Don't do that. It's two different things. And we know this somehow. I really feel you had a bad congregation and should not judge all witnesses by your congregation. I do know that the older witnesses in northeastern Ohio have an issue with some parties, because back in the 70s, apparently parties got out of hand. But I have been to weddings, graduation parties, and even costume parties for kids, and there was dancing. Michael Jackson was never disfellowshipped. He was never baptized. You cannot be disfellowshipped if you have not been baptized. They do not disassociate non-baptized people since 1988. Well, I didn't know that. Okay. Well, you learn something new all the time. I'm assuming you had strict parents. A lot of parents of our generation. I'm assuming you're making a lot of assumptions. You make assumptions, and then you jump from the assumption you made to the next assumption you're going to make based on that assumption. How far can you go? You're leapfrogging from one assumption that's on the back of another assumption. Well, let's keep going. A lot of parents in our generation, and I am assuming you are about the same age from the references you have made. Every sentence you're making a new assumption. we're strict. My mom to this day is not very tactful. However, witnesses have been given talks about tact and things like that. A lot of my friends' parents were not strict like my mom. My mom was ridiculous. So was my uncle. And it wasn't that they were wrong, but they were going on their own conscience. Wait, you began this diatribe by telling us that each Jehovah's Witness is free to live by their own conscience. There's nothing wrong with it. And what they feel. There are Bible principles that are a staple, like no premarital sex. But then there are matters of one's own conscience, like TV shows and rated R movies. He really seems to like rated R movies. I am the type of person who appreciates learning what others believe, and I accept everyone's opinions. Well, that's not what Jehovah's Witnesses do. Jehovah's Witnesses do not appreciate learning from there. They don't learn from the people at the doors. If somebody at the door tries to teach them something, they put the magazine in front of their face, talk to the hand, and they walk away. Right? You're not supposed to learn something from somebody at that door. You teach them. And I accept everyone's opinions. No, that's not what Jehovah's Witnesses do. Jehovah's Witnesses do not accept everyone's opinions. I don't want to be yelled at or told what to believe, because that is how someone else perceives what happened to them. Must happen to everyone. I appreciate a good discussion. I would like to understand why you are so angry, though. However, not in this particular forum. We have Tun Widwee. It's a fun name. It's like something from Star Wars. Yeah, I'm enjoying it very much. This is Tun. Oh! Sorry about that. Here we go. Here's Tun. Tun Widwee. Not wrong to be rich. In response to, I was complaining about Prince being too rich. I just think he has too much money. That's just how I feel. Not wrong to be rich. Well, as the video progressed, I think Tun Widwee did start to see, wait, it kind of is wrong to be rich for a Jehovah's Witness. And so I think he thought better of himself as the video went on, and he edited the comment and changed it up a little bit. You see a camel entering the eye of a needle, then a rich man entering into the kingdom of God, because rarely the rich have spiritual values. So he edited a little bit there. No, Tun. I see what you're doing. It's the Jehovah's Witness thing where you finagle and kind of rationalize and reason there. But the answer is no. Jesus, in response to the rich young ruler, did not tell him, "Oh, you need to, try to build your spiritual values." Jesus, point blank, told the man, you know all those riches you have? Give them to poor people. Then come be my follower. There's something wrong with being rich and seeking more riches for a Jehovah's Witness, right? And I think you know that, and I think you're wobbling around here a little bit because you know it deep down. I think you know it is wrong. Prince is wealthy beyond the dreams of avarice. He has way too much money, and he's seeking more money all the time. More concerts, more appearances, more everything, more, raking in more money. More time spent in the world with worldly people doing worldly things to acquire worldly riches, right? He keeps seeking to make more money. For what? Did he never read that the silver would be thrown into the streets? Oh! I just, Or take your pick. I mean, Serena Williams, Venus Williams, any of these people, they honor God with their lips, but their actions belie them. And you're pissed. Instead of saying, hey, wait a minute, instead you turn around and you want to shoot the messenger. Come on. It's not a biggie, but it is a biggie because it's not about Prince. It's about Tun Tun. This reveals something about you. Why are you so ready, willing? You are hopscotching right up to the YouTube. The first thing you want to type on your keyboard is to defend Prince and say no, no, no. And I'm saying, why? What is this phenomenon of Jehovah's Witnesses doing it? Well, I have a pretty good idea, but Prince, the man would sue you as soon as look at you, Tun Tun. He sues people like you. He doesn't care about you. Tun Tun, I'm guessing you probably live in a hut, or you grew up in a hut. Oh, it's awful. I'm so racist. I'm sorry. I'm guessing that if your name is Tun Tun, I'm guessing you probably didn't grow up in a mansion. Prince, he's like one of the evil people in one of Jesus' Bible parables. He would sue you to take your chickens or whatever you have pinned up behind your hut. He sues his own fans for listening to his songs. If somebody is enjoying or even looking at anything he's ever made without paying him money, he sues them for more money than they will ever make in their life. Did I miss something? Did you never read the Bible account of the man who was forgiven by the king because he had a huge debt, and then he turns around and he chokes his fellow slave and has him thrown into prison because of the small amount of money that he felt was owed to him? And when the king learned of this, he said, "Did you learn nothing from my forgiveness of you? And now I will throw you into prison until you can repay your entire debt to me." Ah! And he goes to prison for the rest of his life because it's more money than he can ever pay back. Did I miss something? Prince wants God to forgive him when he won't even forgive his own fans for accidentally clicking on a video or a link where he doesn't get money for it? And you want me to feel bad for noticing the man's a huge douche, telling us he's a Jehovah's Witness. A witness of Jehovah. Bullshit! Bullshit! But you have to get on your little keyboard and set me straight. Let me tell you something, Tun Tun Widwee. I emptied myself for others. I went door to door to door to door to door trying to save people's lives. I didn't go play concerts and then go on New Girl and then tell the world I was a Jehovah's Witness. I was a real Jehovah's Witness doing real field service every day the hard way. I wasn't suing people for $1 million each. I wasn't suing music executives and chastising them for spending time with their families instead of making money from me. And yet you and every other Jehovah's Witness on here, the first thing you do, instead of taking a moment to pause and think before you type, your first inclination, your first reaction is to run to the defense of the man who was a huge bastard and a huge hypocrite and a huge asshole in the worst kind of way. The most blatantly asshole-ish, hypocritical Jehovah's Witness. But he is a Jehovah's Witness, and therefore you have to. He's a famous Jehovah's Witness, and so you have to carry his water and kiss his ass. That's what you're supposed to do at the Kingdom Hall, right? You're supposed to kiss the asses of people who are better than you and make excuses for them.
Total destruction.
Again, you'll have to bear with me. He's kind of a strange duck. It gets a little weird here. You'll just have to hang tight. As you may remember, he's the Jehovah's Witness that stated he would have hung up on the Kala too. In response to me asking questions to Jehovah's Witnesses, he doesn't like it. He's pissed and says I deserve to get hung up on, even though I didn't. Even by Jehovah's Witness protocol. I don't see what I did wrong. I just asked questions. Well, they don't like it, and they like it less and less every day. It's pissing them off. Anyway, I said, how peculiar that you are so pissed off about this. I'm asking Bible questions to people who claim to be Bible authorities. The Bible authorities. The only ones, in fact. And I kind of just explained to him why I don't really see it that way. It seems it'd be very harmless. Why I can't ask some Bible questions to Jehovah's Witnesses without them slamming the phone down on me. Well, he doesn't see it that way. And he says,
In the words of Christ as my exemplar, I quote Proverbs 1:28 through 33.
And he adds on,
Yes, did Christ respond to those he knew would not benefit from his teachings? Like the scribes and the Pharisees, he hung up as I would, perhaps as you.
It's a read more thing.
He hung up.
Jesus hung up on them.
He hung up as perhaps you would, or also as anyone would if you can't have a decent conversation with someone calling or talking to argue about nothing. As Proverbs 26:4 says, do not answer anyone stupid according to his foolishness, that you yourself might not also become equal to him, bitch.
To which I respond, yes, Jesus did respond. Luke 20, 23, 26, Luke 14, Mark 2, Matt, no, look up the book of Matt, 19. Jesus replied readily. Those are just a few examples. I assure you there's more. Jesus replied readily to his detractors. The false religious leaders were the ones left silent and without answers. Not Jesus. Hey. Are you so determined to defend the ignorant JW man on the phone that you will actually spread lies about Jesus Christ? Oh, this is revealing. And he's very long-winded. Thank you for hanging in.
Don't confuse Christ's statement along with those false religious groups. The guy on the phone calling is in no way interested in the teachings of Jehovah God. If you listen to him, he's calling with a question and mockery way, knowing he's going to believe what he wants anyway. Therefore, he's in no way interested in what Jehovah's Witnesses has to share from the Bible. And that's why when Jesus went house to house with his disciples, he taught them to go find those deserving ones. Also, 2 Timothy 2:16 says, shun empty speeches that violate what is holy and advance more ungodliness. And Titus 3:9 says to shun foolish questionings and genealogies and strife and fights. If I kept asking you why this and why that, knowing I'm not interested in your opinion, would you see any point in continuing talking with me, bitch?
When Jesus asked the Pharisees, is it lawful to cure on the Sabbath? Was he failing to shun foolish questions? Or was he exposing religious frauds with a question that left them silent? It thickens. The plot is thickening. This JW was an ignorant fraud, and he got busted. Just admit it. Are you so determined to defend this JW at any cost that you will continue comparing this idiot to Jesus? This is going to bite you in the end, not me. The man even tells you on the phone, I don't know. He said that like 6 times. I don't know. I can't think of anything. It's a trick. Yeah, he's using reverse psychology. He was like Jesus the whole time. And he just didn't think I was worthy of the answer. And so he lied to me and said he didn't know over and over again and then suddenly hung up. But he did know he was just lying. Oh, not lying, just, using a mind trick.
That is what a true Christian would do.
True Christians do not answer questions to people who might not believe them.
He would be willing to defend the truth and give up his life for it.
But not answer a question from a person on the phone calling the Kingdom Hall. I didn't call this douche at his house. I called the Kingdom Hall. They answer people. They're like the tech support for life, right? They tell you what to do. They insist on telling you what to do. I call up at Kingdom Hall and ask them for the answers. The guy didn't last 10 minutes. He didn't make it. He put me on hold for a long time, and when he came back, I thought he was getting the answer. When he came back, he said he doesn't have an answer, and nobody views this as a problem but me. He couldn't think of an answer, and when I asked him different questions, he said he didn't know the answers to those either. And now you're telling me that he's a true Christian who would give up his life for it, but doesn't think it's worth learning? By the way, this wasn't like a 19-year-old. This was an old guy. This guy sounded older than my dad. This is an old guy. This guy's probably 60 years old, 50 years old, whatever. He's sitting on his fat ass in the Kingdom Hall. I'm guessing the phone is in the library. If it's anything like any Kingdom Hall I've been into, he's answering the phone in the library, surrounded by books. He didn't pick any of them. I thought he was getting an answer. He didn't even try. He told me he had a computer there. He could have looked up the answer. He was ignorant. He was willfully ignorant. And more importantly, he lacked all of inquisitiveness. When I asked him the series of questions, he didn't even start wondering for himself. He didn't say, I'd like to know the answer to that too. Let's find it together. I'm a Jehovah's Witness. I'm in the Kingdom Hall. I'm about to go out in service. Why don't I put you on speakerphone? I can count my time and we can find the answer together. I have all these resources. I have all these books. Instead, he told me, I don't know. I just do what I'm told. His words, not mine. I don't know. I don't really need to know. I just do what I'm told. The governing body and the elders know. I just do what I'm supposed to do. And he thought that was supposed to be good enough for a householder.
We're glad that you think we're ignorant.
I do think you're ignorant. I've proven you're ignorant. And I'll do it again and again and again. You're the one pissed off. You're the one who is watching my videos and commenting. You are... Well, let's move on. We don't want to lose the plot here, friends.
We're glad you think we're ignorant, a fraud, and an idiot.
No, you shouldn't be glad about that. Do you think that's Jesus' goal for you? Or Jehovah's goal for you? What do you think is going on? You rejoice in people thinking you're an idiot. It's one thing to rejoice in being persecuted. It's not okay for Jehovah's Witnesses, and you're not the first person to do this, to rejoice in people saying, that's just ignorant. You're uneducated. You're fraudulent. You're saying things that aren't true. You're misled and you're trying to mislead others. You're an idiot. And you're proud of this. My God.
We expect to be persecuted and hated by the world.
And people thinking you're an idiot is not persecution. It's your responsibility to prove you're not an idiot before you go door to door. Because you're really tricking them. Just like the man on the phone. He was very Christ-like. But he just tricked me because I wasn't worthy of the answer. He psyched me out.
By the world, and there would be something wrong with our religion.
If your religion was comprehensible and the people you're trying to teach it to could understand it, or at least even ask questions about it that you could answer, even if the person doesn't answer, even if the person doesn't understand the answer, you didn't even get that far. I asked half a dozen questions, the man couldn't answer any one of them, and wasn't willing to even try. You're not even there, you haven't even walked to, it's not that you struck out, you didn't even make it out of the batter's box, you lost your way. You didn't even make it to the plate to strike out.
But as a Christian, we're told to pray for those who are persecuting us, as I will pray for you.
You will pray, you will take the time to pray for someone. Nah, you won't really. But you'll pretend to take the time to pray for someone, but you won't answer a question? You won't take 5 minutes to give an accurate answer to a question. Oh, because the price of that would just be too high. If somebody's not worthy of it, they just don't deserve it, so why give it to them? That's what's really going on. Oh, it seems like I'm an idiot, right? No, I tricked you. I'm clever like a fox. I tricked you by letting you think that I don't know the answer when I tell you I don't know. I'm a clever idiot. To which I don't know what to make of this, friends. I just keep going. So posing Bible questions to a self-proclaimed Bible teacher is persecution? Or are you saying I have to agree with Jehovah's Witnesses beforehand if asking them Bible questions? And if so, how can it be determined who truly agrees with them if people are only allowed to remain silent or agree? I see this as a huge problem. What do you all think? Jehovah's Witnesses will only... this man is essentially telling me Jehovah's Witnesses only have to answer questions to people that are going to agree with them ahead of time. And how are they going to know that ahead of time? This is a major, major problem, and you start to wonder, wait, do these people care about the people they're talking to? My asking Bible questions to an unprepared JW seems to have really irritated you for some reason. Even though Jesus placed that burden on his followers, not their critics. See 1 Peter 3:15, why don't ya? I'm wondering, since my asking questions to a JW bothers you, how then do you feel about the elders allowing a paroled sex criminal to interrogate the JW women he was convicted of raping? And here's a link. Here's where it gets dicey. He didn't like that. Here's where I have to switch to screens, friends. He's I can't reply to this. After I asked this question to him, he blocked me. And blocking happens on YouTube, but here's the thing. If he just blocked me and ran away, I'd be like, boy, he doesn't like me, and that's the end of it. But he wrote a response to me and then blocked me on my channel. Well, he said, "You're a waste of my time, and therefore I'm done talking with you, bitch. You just want to find cause to argue about nothing. Takes two to argue. Besides, what is there to get irritated about? I don't expect you to believe anything the Bible tells you, bitch." And I'm blocked, so I can't respond to him. But here's what I would have written. As you can see, look, he's on my channel. He wrote all this on my channel after he blocked me. I'm pushing the reply button, I can't. But here's what I would have said to him. Jehovah's Witnesses think that hanging up the phone and refusing to answer Bible questions, but making women sit in front of their rapist and answer lewd sex questions is okay. Hanging up, he's defending the idea of hanging up the phone and refusing to answer Bible question. And he's proud of the man. He compares the man to Jesus Christ. The man who said, "I don't know the answer to that question. I just do what I'm told." He's proud of the man, and proud of the man hanging up the phone and not even saying goodbye, just slamming the phone down and running away back out in service. But making women sit in front of their rapist and answering dirty sex questions to the man who was convicted of raping them. Shame on you. Shame on JW Religion. You are indeed done. Now scurry away and hide in JW fashion, you son of a bitch. And I included an excerpt from the aforementioned news article, which you may have already been aware of. Just a short quote here. It emerged yesterday that the congregation held 3 disfellowshipping meetings
during which the women were repeatedly asked to read a scripture on bearing false witness and consider what it meant. This is after the man raped them, went to trial, was convicted, and served a prison term, and was released. He served his jail sentence for raping them. He's released. He comes back to the kingdom halls, and the elders sit his rape victims in front of him and then say, "Well, since we have you sitting here, we'd like you to repeatedly read this scripture about bearing false witness, you bitch." This is the elders telling these women to sit and read the same scripture over and over again about bearing false witness. And to consider what it meant. We'll just give you a moment of silence to consider what that means. While the man who raped them is sitting right in front of them. And they want him back in the congregation. And these women say, he should be disfellowshipped. Why are you doing this? Jesus. A source told the Manchester Evening News they had to go through the abuse in detail and were asked if they encouraged it. One of the victims was asked if she enjoyed it. My God. Well, I don't know what you can say to that. I guess that's why Total Destruction had to block me. But the thing is, it doesn't stop here, unfortunately. Stay tuned for phase 2.
On Google, disfellowship means to exclude someone from fellowship.
And he's moved on to the Prince video here, where I jokingly bring up that my phone says that disfellowshipping, it doesn't recognize it as a word. Well, he says disfellowshipping is a word, bitch.
And repent means to feel remorse or regret.
Repent, yeah, he's not being honest. Repent is a word. Repentful is not a word. And you may say, well, repentful was a slip of the tongue. I grew up with people telling me to feel repentful. And it just always seemed to me like it wasn't a real word. And lo and behold, it turns out it's not a word. I grew up hearing people talk about being repentful. Repentful to Jehovah. And excuse me for taking 5 seconds to say, by the way, that's a made-up word. It isn't real.
This idiot says it's not a word.
It's not a word.
He must really have a poor education.
I was educated by Jehovah's Witnesses. I was educated. I didn't go to college because reading the Awake magazine for 4 years equates to a college education, is what I was told. Were you told the same thing? I was. College? Why waste thousands of dollars on college when you can read your subscription to Awake magazine for 4 years? It is the same as a college education. You have the circuit overseer's word on it. To which it is really beginning to rub off the wrong way here. That didn't sound good. We'll cut that part out. This is where I'm becoming frustrated because I always try to see the good in people or see the good in a situation, but with Jehovah's Witnesses, again and again and again, it's the lowest denominator. It's a race to the bottom every time. I'm trying to have a conversation and try to get somewhere with the Jehovah's Witnesses commenting on my videos, and they're resistant. They're stubborn as all get out.
They're being dishonest again. It's only acknowledged in some extended unabridged dictionaries that include slang and other language minted outside the universal lexicon. Disfellowshipping specifically references the shunning practice of some Protestant religions. We know who that is. Recognized only as jargon for that small clique of people. It's not found in the Bible and appears nowhere outside the ambiguous source of some churches, Webster Merriam. And we, of course, know they're talking about kingdom halls. Let's not play dumb. Let's not play word games. It's this guy. He's so dicey. He's so shady that he's trying to pee on your windshield and tell you it's raining. Nobody talks about disfellowshipping but Jehovah's Witness and maybe some small. I think there's a couple of other very small churches that are breakaway Adventist groups or have some connection to the Second Adventist origins. But nothing outside. You do not hear about disfellowshipping anywhere outside of that. It is something specific to Jehovah's Witnesses. And to pretend it's a word when it's not in the Bible, and they're the people that are, anyway. Shame on you for using these ploys to defend the truth. It's deceitful and dishonors your God who cannot lie. Maybe lying is too strong of a word. I don't want to go there right away, but whatever is going on here is less than honest. It's dishonest to put your foot down and try to tell people that disfellowshipping is a real word, and just people outside of Jehovah's Witnesses never heard of it except for Jehovah's Witnesses. Come on. It's not a big deal, I guess. Maybe I'm overreacting, but it seems like Jehovah's Witnesses lately, they take the low road on everything. Are you proud of this? Total destruction? Is this, your entire, is this your ministry? Is this, because everything you do and say has a negative tone, a mean, negative tone that skirts the boundaries of what is real and what is true. Outside of the Kingdom Hall, the word disfellowshipping doesn't mean anything to anyone. Now, phonetically, people can piece it together. Dis plus fellowship. If you walked up to a worldly person on the street and say, "I'm disfellowshipping you, bitch," they get it. They can put the word together. They watch Sesame Street. They understand, you dissing me? You disfellowshipping me. They get it. They understand what it means. But it's not a word people use. And you're pretending that this is a real word. Shame on you for using these ploys to defend the truth. The truth. It's deceitful and dishonors your God who cannot lie. I don't know what to do with these people anymore. The truth. The most perfect, most wonderful people in the world. The greatest religion of all time. The greatest religion on the face of the earth. And they always sink to new lows every chance they get. Hanging up the phone. Hanging up the phone on somebody asking Bible questions. Is that not the broad and spacious road? That's the easy way out, right? How are you squeezing through the narrow gate? How are you taking the cramped road leading to life? There's a term called bush league. It means something that you can technically get away with in the game of baseball, but a gentleman wouldn't do it. And the people, there's little tricks that you can get away with baseball that may give you a little advantage in your mind. You may think a little bit, but your fellow baseball players and the people sitting in the audience, the people sitting in the stands will lose respect for you. And it's almost universally accepted in baseball that it just isn't worth it. Doing things that you can kind of get away with and ha to yourself, it's not worth it, because you may have won the game, you may have won the day, but you lost at life. The things that I keep seeing, these JW defenders and apologizers on YouTube, it's like they're losing the game of life. They keep accusing other people of not being happy, not having joy. But the dirty things you do, I don't see how anyone could find real joy in that. By the way, on the topic of joy, I want you to, I'd like to let you, I've booted this up here. I want you to see what Jehovah's Witnesses think joy is. Let me see if I can find it here. I just wanted to play this is just a 30-second insight into the mind of a Jehovah's Witness. I hope you enjoy.
Ride around in the car with other publishers as they made their return business. But when it came to making mine, I was happy when they were home.
Well, so how did you change?
Well, Peter, I learned that, well, my approach, it was all wrong.
Wrong? What do you mean by that?
It's diminishing the joy that I can have in the ministry by giving way too much power to the householder.
Too much power to the household?
That's what the circuit overseer, he talked to me about making return business.
Wow. This is a real thing. This is Jehovah's Witnesses. The man, if you didn't gather what's going on here, this is one of their little bits they do. And the man's depressed. He's not enjoying field service, the thing that Jehovah's Witnesses do. He doesn't think it's fun. And the circuit overseer told him that the reason he doesn't think field service is fun is because the people he's talking to have too much power. And this is what made my mouth drop open. This 2012 district convention, I'm somebody that's been a Jehovah's Witness my whole life. And I went to this convention and I couldn't believe it. This is in regards to the new brochure, God's Great Message or whatever the hell it is. Oh, Good News from God. The Good News from God brochure. But it's better. Hey, we already have tons of brochures, but this one's better. And do you know why? This introduction of this brochure had a game changer for Jehovah's Witnesses. We don't have any questions at the bottom of the page. You see, back in the old days, Jehovah's Witnesses used to tell you what questions you're going to ask them. They'd give you the questions, and then you'd ask, and then they'd let you read the question, and then they'd answer the question for you. But that didn't give them enough joy, because you still had too much power over their interaction with you. And so the new brochure that they use now, and I'm not making this up, by the way. You can look into this for yourself. The new brochure they use, there's no questions. They talk at you, and then they walk away and say, I studied the Bible with that person. And they count it as a doorstep study, and you don't even know what happened to you. Isn't that funny? The people at the doors don't even know they've been studied with. And Jehovah's Witnesses, it's almost like an inside joke. Well, they may not even realize that they're your Bible study. They're teaching you from the Bible, and you don't even know it. You're not even aware that you're their Bible student. Now, what do you think, people? Is that honest or dishonest? That you can have a Bible student that doesn't know that they're your Bible student. They may not even like you, or say, who is this? Who is this strange person who keeps coming to my door and reading something to me and walking away? They don't have questions anymore. You don't even go through the process of saying, I'm going to be your Bible teacher, and this is a free home Bible study, and we'll sit down together. They don't even do that. They bypass that. And the reason given, by the way, this isn't this man ad-libbing. This is from the district convention notes. This is the outline. This is an actual thing where a Jehovah's Witness man says he's not having enough joy. And these two Jehovah's Witnesses are lamenting the fact that driving around out in service and never getting anywhere with anyone is boring. And there's no joy in it. It's more joyful, and so they concocted a way to have more joy. You take the Good News from God brochure to the door, and I'm not joking about this. Here's the interaction that you, the householder, get to have. They open the brochure's first page. You point to a topic. That's what your role has been reduced to. You point to what page they will start reading from. Then they read at you, and then they move on to the next one and read at you. That's the extent. There's no more question. They don't pause for the questions anymore. They read at you, and they think they're teaching people. I'm sorry, I guess I'm getting hot under the collar again. It's just nothing really cheesed me off as much as this new video where the woman says that her Bible study turned out to be an apostate. Unbelievable. I mean, a lot of things cheese me off in life, but wow, that was just something else, wasn't it, folks? A woman who is still learning the Bible from a Jehovah's Witness became an apostate. And you tell me
Is this a moment? Is this a proud moment in Jehovah's Witness history when a woman who has uncomfortable questions from her own Bible study, instead of saying, I will take the cramped path, I will walk through the thorns to help my Bible study, instead runs away, tells all her friends that her Bible study was an apostate, and the other Jehovah's Witnesses say, whoa, we'll give a talk about her, warn the others. Is this not the broad and spacious road leading to destruction? Or what's going? Maybe not, you tell me. I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel for these guys. I guess you're getting away with it and you seem happy with it, but I don't see the payoff. I don't see the reward. I guess in the old days it was, well, let's use winsome words to appeal to people's, whatever. They don't even try anymore. With Jehovah's Witnesses, at least the ones on YouTube that I keep coming across, they just seem to have a very FU attitude. It's becoming more common. It almost seems like they're bullying people a lot. Talking about Armageddon, wiping off the face of the earth. If people don't respect you, like if you're not even being nice to people. Here's what I think would be more effective is any sense of shame. They want you to feel shame, but where's their sense of shame? There was a guy. It's incredible. I was watching the videos, JW Struggle, the one where he puts a recorder in his pocket. He goes to his judicial committee. Oh, spoiler. Some spoilers here. The man is Jehovah's Witness through hearsay. The elders become suspicious that he doesn't agree with them. And he has some misgivings about the Jehovah's Witness organization, the Watchtower religion, whatever you want to call it. It's not exactly clear because they're not exactly clear on what's going on. They have a situation where the man, JW Struggle, he thinks he's having a private conversation with somebody. He thinks he's his friend. Well, I can tell you how this one ends. The person goes straight to the elder and tells the elders that this man has doubts about the governing body. He doesn't have faith in the governing body anymore. And so because these elders are suspicious, they literally hold an inquisition against him. That's not an exaggeration of the term. They bring this man to their tribunal and inquisition him. They want him to swear allegiance to they ask him, will he give his allegiance to the governing body? And he's of course reluctant to do that because he was a secret apostate all the time. They busted him. And spoilers, they disfellowship his ass. Not because he did something wrong, but because he thought the wrong thing in his head, and that's unacceptable. Jehovah's Witnesses, it's the low road. How can you be proud of this? How can you think this is How can you expect people to respect you or think good things about you or be impressed by you? You think anybody is impressed by you? People find you lowbrow. You think you're so much better than the people in the world that you're preaching at. Boy, if you only knew how they view you, in all earnestness. You call it persecution. You call it being hated by the world. They're just genuinely unimpressed with you. And I know that from hey, I used to be in your world. And no longer in the... I'm no longer in the amazing JW world. I'm out in the actual world. And I got to tell you, worldly people, they don't know what to make of you. But they're not impressed. They don't respect you. They don't see anything good. Oh, I know. Every convention they have a story about, the hotel manager who just thinks you're the most wonderful people in the world and thinks he will become Jehovah's Witness, probably because he's impressed by just what incredible people you are. I'm not having those conversations with people. Every time I'm hearing anything about Jehovah's Witnesses, it's how do these people, where do they get off? Instead of the elders or the governing body or whoever coming to this man and saying, you've lost faith in us? Well, what can we do to make it better? Instead of feeling like we failed you. We don't want to do that. How can we make this right? We'll try harder. We'll do better. Instead, they punish this man for not believing in them enough or at all. You don't believe in us? Take that! How can you be proud of that? How can that appeal to people? At times you almost threaten people at doors. That's not right. I've been out in service. Not everyone. Some people do just fine out in service. But there are people that almost threaten householders. Do you think that's okay? More often it's people threatening Bible studies. Yeah, you got to get in the door to get into the really good threats. It is, to me, that's the biggest problem. That's the biggest problem. Is that when you're threatening your own Bible studies, when your own Bible studies that think that they're your friend and you love them and you're teaching them something, and then when they ask questions that you don't like, you run away and you do away with them behind their back. You go back to your kingdom hall and give a talk about how evil they are. There's nothing good about you. There's nothing winsome about you. There's nothing that Jesus or Jehovah can hold up and say, see? I'm so proud. There's nothing good about you. Other people telling you to get off their porch or shut up or get away from me, that's not a litmus test for the truth. Same thing happens to if you were selling Avon. I'm sorry. Maybe people at doors do hate you. They probably don't, but even if they do hate you, it's probably because you irritated them really bad. I've done the door-to-door thing, and I got to tell you, the 30 seconds that you may get to talk, if you can get 30 to 60 seconds into it, you're like, wow, this is working. The 25, 30 seconds that you have to talk is not enough time for somebody to hate you. They don't know you. They don't even, you say, my name is Moses. They probably think it's a made-up name. I'm looking at your name, and it's taken me, 10 minutes to convince myself that probably is your name. Moses Pad. It sounds like a Bible app on a phone. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm the bad guy. People don't hate you, Moses. You're too isolated from the world for probably anyone to hate you. I'm sorry, but worldly people, if the only people that hate each other, there's got to be something behind it. And most people don't really hate Jehovah's Witnesses because there's nothing there. You don't have enough extensive interaction with the world for people to hate you in the world. Now, you are going to annoy people in the world. I'm guessing wherever you work, there's probably quite a few people that find you annoying and grit their teeth and roll their eyes. That's not hatred. That's not you getting fed to the lions or crucified or, hung on a stake. Nobody hating you. And even if they did, look, I know that in places like Borneo or some weird place like that, there probably are Jehovah's Witnesses getting put in prisons and beaten and stuff, and I'm sorry for that. But that's
that's the world. That's what happens. It's happening to people. I mean, every day there's people getting killed. The world's a hateful place, Moses. If someone's been hateful to you, I'm sorry, but bro, it ain't me. It ain't me, and it isn't the ex-Jehovah's Witnesses who make videos on YouTube. That's not hate. That's just people saying what's on their mind. And I mean, you watch the Prince video.
On holy water, sanguine addiction, the silver bullets, long last blood
Moses Paul. Oh, Moses Pad. Whoa, that's even crazier. Moses Pad. And he's taking a selfie.
The hypocrisy of Christendom never ceases to amaze me.
Wait, Christendom? You're not talking about me, are you? That's a good one. Christendom. We'll get into that later. I think this is something symptomatic of Jehovah's Witnesses. They have this fixation about Christendom. Christendom, if you're not familiar with Jehovah's Witnesses and the way they talk, that means anybody that they don't like. It's Christendom. They group millions, billions of people together into this thing called Christendom. It's monolithic. It's unified. And it's the antithesis of what they are. It's just anything that's the opposite of them is identified as Christendom, including me, who has never set foot in a church in his life. I'm the hypocrisy of Christendom now. Hypocrisy? Well, that's a strange duck in itself, as I am not really a hypocrite, am I? I mean, if you want to go into court and make the case that I'm a bad boy, well, you'd probably win that case. But hypocrite, that dog don't hunt, my man. How am I a hypocrite? Hypocrisy of Christendom. Hey, I'm not in Christendom, and I'm not really a hypocrite. I don't know what he said.
It just never ceases to amaze me. They bash all of Jehovah's Witnesses over Prince appearing on one episode of that show. It was just one episode. And yet people from Christendom will appear on shows that show witchcraft, sex, murder, and racism.
I'm not picking on you, Moses, but yo, I made this video, man. There's nothing hateful here. I'm just clowning on Prince. What do you think I'm not? You really think Prince can walk around with an afro, walking around in high heel shoes, and I'm not gonna say anything? Do you really? That's preferable to you? That no one is supposed to notice that Prince seems to be getting away with kind of a weird thing. You're out here in the real world, and you're doing the Jehovah's Witness thing where you make something up on the spot, convince yourself it's true. You made an assumption about me that Christendom has some hold in what I'm doing or saying. It just doesn't. I could not care less about Christendom.
The more people I see hate us, the more I am convinced that I'm in the truth.
I know that's at meetings, assemblies, they tell you that's how you can convince yourself that you're in the truth. It is because the world is dirty and mean. You're right, the world is dirty and mean. Therefore, you have the truth. I hate to bring this up, Moses. You typed an entire paragraph about me personally that was not true. I'm not calling you a liar, but as you can see, I just clicked on this button. The assumption that you made about me was not true. You were dead wrong. You were completely wrong. I'm not mad at you. I love you. You were wrong. And you did not state this as merely your opinion. You have fallen into the Jehovah's Witness trap of stating something with certainty that you did not know for a certainty.
and you established it as fact, and you did not keep that fact to yourself. You proclaimed it to the world and anyone who would read it. There's nothing in here that says, I think so, or probably, or maybe. You went out of your way to inform people of this fact, which is not true, as I just proved by clicking on this button. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal, but it is a big deal because this is a small thing, but you do it with big things too, don't you? You go door to door, and you probably don't even get to deliver.
No, I should have learned more about how to become a partner through monetization and displaying ads on your videos. Oh, God. Oh, Jehovah had the last laugh this time. I thought I was making money. I thought that check was in the mail. It never came. Oh, well, I have another money-making scheme I can rely on. It's called a job. I go there every day, and in my free time, I make videos. I hate Jehovah's Witnesses too, but it kind of bothers me that everyone's making so much money off of their hatred of Jehovah's Witnesses. Oh, the money feels good, but isn't it wrong? Oh, well, I can get over it. The guy who makes these videos is making money off of this hate for Jehovah's Witnesses. He has enough subscribers and video views to make money off of them. Wait, I hate to stop you again, Moses Pad, but Jehovah's Witnesses, you ask everyone you talk to for money, right? You go to the door. Wait. You knock on doors, total strangers. You give them a magazine that they're under the impression is free. You really coax them. You practically put it in their hands and say, please read this. And after, you usually never get this far. And even if you do, a lot of JWs don't have the gut to do it. But after you put the magazine in the person's hand, you're supposed to say, by the way, it is customary to tip. We do accept donations at this time. And if you'd like to make a small contribution to the worldwide work, I'd be happy to accept it. A few dollars will be fine. Yeah, I'll stand here at the doorstep while you retrieve it. And, let me get something for you. And then they hand the microphone back to the brother, and they walk off stage, and the audience claps. And the man returns to the podium and says, thank you for that demonstration of how things are supposed to go. We're talking about Jehovah's Witnesses, right? You ask strangers for money. All day, every day. Jehovah's Witnesses going up and down the street asking people for money. The more I see people hate us, the more I am convinced that I am in the truth. Moses, that's a terrible way to convince yourself you know the truth. By what other people are doing? That's your litmus test for knowing that what you think in your mind is the truth. Because of what other people think or do or say. You go to people's doors and you bang on the door and you're waving magazines around and they say, go to hell? Oh, I must have the truth. I wish it worked that way, Moses. It does. But racism, come on. You just group together millions, hundreds of millions of people into a thing called Christendom. Every sentence has Christendom in it. And people that aren't Jehovah's Witnesses are scratching their head saying, what does this mean? Here's what it means. The people of Jehovah's Witnesses that knock on the door and they say, oh, I have my own Bible. I already believe in God. Have a good day. They say, that's Christendom. That's Christendom. Ah! And now you talk about racism. Grouping millions of people into Christendom when they don't even know they're in Christendom. This is your bigotry. This is literally bigotry. You're not a Jehovah's Witness. You say you believe in God, but you're not one of us. Therefore, you're a Christendom. And people like you appear on shows that show witchcraft and sex. And also on those shows that promote racism. Just one of those popular racist TV shows that are out there right now. You name it, they do it. They have done it. And by the way, the guy who makes these videos is making money off of his hatred for Jehovah's Witnesses. It's a huge cash cow for me. I have to confess. At first I started making videos just because I hate Jehovah's Witnesses. I just hate their guts. But it really turned into a money-making endeavor for me. And now I'm just making money hand over fist, and that's why I live in such splendor. I love all the things that the money has provided me. And as proven, well, since we're here anyway, I'll just go to my channel settings. Let's learn how much money I've been making. I've been waiting for this check to come in. Monetization. And, oh, shit! Oh, God, I forgot to push the button. Oh no! I thought I pushed that button years ago. Oh, fudge! Fudge! I thought I was getting rich all this time. No, this can't be happening. No, it is. Oh, it's true. God blast it. I thought I was making a fortune on YouTube, and I never pushed the button.